So what we will try to do is also answer questions on digital equity and security. So I'm going to start actually by reading out the first question for Smita, which she will answer, which is, Smita, how safe is it? This is a security question. So the question is, how safe is it to sign up or sign in into an app or website with your email ID or your Facebook ID?
Thank you, Bishakha. So this is a very important question because this is often the first step in any new app we are joining or any new website we may sign up for in terms of online classes or to like listen to lectures or any of that, right? I would say one of the safest way to sign up to a new app or website is to use your email ID. This is because often Facebook, signing up with Facebook is given to you as a first option. But what they're trying to do with that is to collect more data about you and to collect more information about you, right? And when this may not be when we may not think this is an immediate security concern, this is a violation of our privacy. So rule of thumb, it's best if we sign up with an email ID. And if you feel particularly unsafe using certain apps, or if you're not sure about it, it's best if you use an email ID which doesn't have your name on it, right? And this makes it easier for information about you from different places to not be collected together, because that can give away a lot more than anything, right? Of course, this is, some people may find it easier to use the Facebook ID, and I'm not saying that is right or wrong, but I'm giving you the pros and cons of both the sides. So rule of thumb, use your email ID as much as possible to sign up to new places.
Fantastic. Thank you, Smita. Let me ask you the second question as well, which is also on digital security. And this again has come from the participants. So the question is, how can you safeguard your device, your folders and your files with stronger security, like double or triple layered security features, like alphanumeric password patterns and biometrics?
The idea is that one of the very, very first steps that you can take in making your device and folders and files secure is to use a strong password. And the way we think about that is, instead of using passwords, you use passphrases. Think about your favorite line, your favorite poem and the title of that, right? And if that's in Bangla, even better, because you're writing a Bangla word or phrase, preferably phrase, in English, that immediately becomes stronger. Add numbers which are not your birth date or your partner or your children's birth dates, and a symbol with that, and you immediately have a strong password in your hand, right? And this, once this step is taken, this will deter a lot of other issues which may come because of having a weak password. It's almost like, it's like, you know, when your front door of your house is locked with a strong big lock, it deters thieves and others who may have malicious thoughts from entering your house for any other mischievous reasons. And that first step is really important. Another thing which I would say is that because internet connections are, worrying these days, sometimes you may have files which you think have to be kept secure. Another option is to make sure that you have your important files and documents backed up onto a separate pen drive or hard drive. Bishakha is screen sharing the tips in Bangla for making a strong password. And another thing is, try to avoid using the same password in multiple locations, because what that means is that, so if I use the same password for my email and my Zoom and someone finds it out, then both my things are compromised, right? That is another thing. And if possible, change it as frequently as possible. And I think this will immediately cut down the risks that you face in different spaces, like, tremendously. And using patterns and biometrics is an option, yes. Especially a lot of people use patterns for their phone, which is not a bad idea at all. But on phones, when you do the pattern, the line sometimes comes automatically. If you can turn that off, it's more secure. Biometrics is very secure, yes. The concern with biometrics is that you're giving your fingerprint to another company. So it is about and I'm presenting all these options to you and giving the pros and cons so that you can take a decision based on your immediate needs. Because, for example, persons who cannot see, who have visual impairment, for them biometrics is very easy because they cannot type easily on a touch phone, right? And this is something which we need to be aware of. What are the accessibility issues as well? So But this is a concern that who are you giving your fingerprint to? Is it only to your phone? Then it's fine because your phone is in your hand. So these are some things which we can keep in mind when we are thinking about security in this way. Yes. Bishakha, can I ask you the next question?
Yes.
So it's a longer question, but the crux of the question is also what Ruchira addressed partly in her talk. To condense it down, what the participant is basically referring to students who are based in districts which are in rural spaces or in peri-urban spaces. Now, with many more schools doing online classes, a lot of the students are also expected to go online. But a survey which was done with female students showed that in many cases, female students particularly don't have access to phones. Sometimes even when they have basic phones, they don't have ways to recharge the phone or even access the internet. What can we do to decrease the inequalities faced by these children who belong to larger deprived sections of the society?
Thank you, Smita. আমরা আসলে দেখছি আজকাল যে দু টাইপ অফ ডিজিটাল ডিভাইড দেখা যাচ্ছে। একটা হলো যেটা বেসড অন ক্লাস এন্ড কাস্ট, হ্যাঁ, যাদের কাছে মানে মিনস অফ লাইভলিহুড এটসেট্রা এটসেট্রা আছে, তাদের হাতে মোবাইল ফোন আছে, কি ল্যাপটপ আছে, কি কম্পিউটার হোয়াটএভার, তাই তারা অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারছে ডিজিটাল এডুকেশন। কিন্তু যাদের কাছে মানে মিনস অফ লাইভলিহুড আর লোয়ার, আর স্পেশালি এই সিচুয়েশন, লকডাউন সিচুয়েশনে যেখানে মানে লোক বুঝতে পারছে না আমাদের নেক্সট মিল কি, আমাদের নেক্সট মানে ডিনার কি লাঞ্চ কোথা থেকে আসবে, ওই টাকাটা হাতে নেই মানে ডেটা রিচার্জ করবার এটসেট্রা। তাই সেখানে মানে অনলাইন এডুকেশনের বিষয়ে ভাবা ইজ রিয়েলি মানে ভেরি ভেরি ডিফিকাল্ট। এটা হলো ওয়ান টাইপ অফ ডিজিটাল ডিভাইড। কিন্তু এর মধ্যেও যে প্রশ্নটার জবাব আমি দিতে চাই সেটা হলো একটা ইনভিজিবল ডিজিটাল ডিভাইড আছে। আর ওই ইনভিজিবল ডিজিটাল ডিভাইডটা হলো বেসড অন জেন্ডার। তো আমরা যেটা দেখছি মানে আগে থেকে, লকডাউনের অনেক আগে থেকে লাস্ট 5-6 বছর ধরে, যে অনেক ঘর পার্টিকুলারলি মানে লো ইনকাম বাড়িতে ধরুন একটা ফোন আছে, একটা মোবাইল ফোন, কিন্তু সেই ফোনটা বেশিরভাগ আইদার বাবার হাতে থাকে কি ছেলের হাতে থাকে, আর খুব কম থাকে মানে মায়ের হাতে কি মেয়ের হাতে। হ্যাঁ, তো এই দিক থেকে কি হয় মানে অলরেডি একটা মানে যে যারা মেল মেম্বার্স অফ দ্য ফ্যামিলি, they become more digitally literate একদিক থেকে। হ্যাঁ, মানে ওরা কিভাবে এরকম মোবাইল ফোন চালানো যায়, কিভাবে ব্যবহার করা যায় ফর এনিথিং, মানে সে ফিন্যান্সের জন্য, ব্যাংক অ্যাকাউন্টের জন্য, কিছু ইনফরমেশন পাওয়ার জন্য যা চায়, they become more and more familiar with it। তাই ওদের একটা মানে অ্যাডভান্টেজ হয়ে যায় যদি একদিক থেকে দেখেন, বেশি এক্সপোজার, বেশি ইনফরমেশন, বেশি অ্যাওয়ারনেস, বেশি মানে ইকোনমিক কন্ট্রোল এটসেট্রা। আর আরেক দিকে আমরা দেখছি যে মেয়েরা আর মহিলারা আরো পিছিয়ে যাচ্ছে, কারণ ওদের ফার্স্ট অফ অল ফোন দেয়া হয় না হাতে, আর যখন দেয়াও হয় খুব মানে কন্ট্রোলড ভাবে ওদের ব্যবহার করতে দেয়া হয়। হ্যাঁ, মানে অলওয়েজ একটা ফ্যামিলি সার্ভেলেন্স হয়, পার্টিকুলারলি যদি মেয়েটা ধরুন স্কুলে যায় কি কলেজে যায়, ওই এজ গ্রুপে আমরা দেখছি যে ছেলে যদি মানে ওই ফোনটা ব্যবহার করে, ওদের এত মানে প্যারেন্টস কি ফ্যামিলি এত মানে অ্যাটেনশন দিচ্ছে না যে তুমি কি করছো এই ফোন নিয়ে। কিন্তু যদি একটা মেয়ে হয়, তাকে খুব স্ট্রিক্টলি ইউজ করতে দেয়া হয়, মানে ভেরি রিস্ট্রিক্টেডলি, উইদাউট ফ্রিডম। হ্যাঁ, মানে ফুললি ইউজ করতে দেওয়া হয় না, আর খুব মানে একটা ফ্যামিলি লেভেল সার্ভেলেন্স হয়। তাই এটাও একটা হিডেন ব্যাপার। তাই আমরা বলতে চাই, যখন আমরা এই ডিজিটাল ডিভাইড নিয়ে কথা কই না, নিশ্চয়ই আমাদের ডেফিনেটলি ক্লাস আর কাস্ট ইজ অ্যাট দ্য বেসিস অফ ইট, সেটা তো কোনো ডাউট নেই। কিন্তু তার মধ্যেও জেন্ডারের একটা খুব মানে বড় রূপ আছে। তাই আমাদের এটাও ভাবতে হবে যে যদি আমরা আমাদের মেয়েদের শিক্ষিত করাতে চাই, আর যদি ধরুন এইরকম একটা সিচুয়েশন, এখন তো কিছু বোঝা যাচ্ছে না নেক্সট 2 বছরে মানে কি এক্স্যাক্টলি কোথায় আমরা দাঁড়াবো, তাই আমরাও ভাবছি যে হয়তো আমাদের কয়েকদিন, ইভেন দো এটা খুব ফ্যান্টাস্টিক সলিউশন না এই সময়ে, হয়তো আমাদের ডিজিটাল এডুকেশন নিয়ে আগে একটু মানে ইউজ করতে হবে, তখন আমাদের হয়তো ভাবতে হবে এদিক থেকে কয়েকটা, মানে আমি শর্ট টার্ম এর কোনো মানে অ্যাকচুয়ালি এইরকম আমাদের দেশে যেখানে আমরা দেখছি 450 মিলিয়ন পিপল এই লকডাউনের মাঝখানে মানে খেতে পাচ্ছে না, আর মানে কোনো নো মিনস অফ লাইভলিহুড, এর কোনো ভালো সলিউশন নেই অ্যাকচুয়ালি। হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু অ্যাট দ্য সেম টাইম আমরা যদি সত্যি মানি যে ধরুন 2-3 বছর ধরে কিছু না কিছু ব্যবস্থা করতেই হবে এইসব ডিজিটাল এডুকেশনের, তাহলে কয়েকটা জিনিস আমরা ভাবতে পারি। একটা হলো যে এটা পুরোনো কালেও আমরা দেখতাম, অনেক বছর আগে আমি একটা স্টাডি করেছিলাম, তার নাম হলো অ্যান্ড হু উইল মেক দ্য চাপাতিস অন অল উইমেন পঞ্চায়েতস ইন মহারাষ্ট্র। সেটা একটা বই বার করা হয়েছিল যেটা স্ত্রী পাবলিকেশনস কলকাতায় পাবলিশ করেছিল। সেখানে আমরা দেখলাম যে যখন মহিলারা পঞ্চায়েতে আসে না, তারা ফার্স্ট এন্ড ফরমোস্ট ওই গাঁয়ের স্কুলে ধরুন জাস্ট 6 স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অব্দি ক্লাসরুমস আছে, ওরা ওই 6 স্ট্যান্ডার্ড থেকে 7 স্ট্যান্ডার্ড কি 8 স্ট্যান্ডার্ডে একটু ইনক্রিজ করতে চায় নাম্বার অফ ক্লাসরুমস, কারণ ওরা বুঝতে পারে যে ওইটা করলে ওদের মেয়েদের পড়ানোর সুবিধা হবে। কারণ হয়তো ছেলেদের অন্য গায়ে পাঠানো হয় মানে একটা মোর সিনিয়র টাইপ অফ স্কুলে, কিন্তু মেয়েদের এডুকেশন ওখানেই থেমে যায়। তাই এই এডুকেশনের মানে যেটা ডিজিটাল জেন্ডার ডিভাইড, ডিজিটাল এলিমেন্টটা নতুন, কিন্তু জেন্ডার ডিভাইডটা শুরু থেকেই মানে এডুকেশনে আছে। হ্যাঁ, কমছে হয়তো কিন্তু আছে। তাই আমার মতে আমাদের রিয়েলি ভাবতে হবে যে ফার্স্ট অফ অল বাড়ি একটা হলো যে রিয়েলি মানে যদি আমরা ক্লাস ডিভাইড থেকে দেখতে চাই, তাহলে যেমন আমরা স্কুল টুলে স্কলারশিপ দিই, হ্যাঁ, লোয়ার ইনকাম স্টুডেন্টসদের, তাহলে আমাদের এই সময় এখন এসে গেছে যখন আমাদের ডেটা স্কলারশিপ কি এইরকম কিছু নিয়ে আমাদের ভাবতে হবে, কিছু একটা ডিমান্ড করতে হবে অফ দ্য গভর্নমেন্ট, যে যদি আপনারা সত্যি চান যে আমরা মানে স্কুলে ডিজিটাল এডুকেশন নিয়ে লোকের হাতে যখন কোনো মিনস নেই এসব ফোন কেনা কি ডেটা রিচার্জ করা, তাহলে যেমন আপনারা বই খাতা স্কুল ইউনিফর্মের জন্য ফেলোশিপ মানে স্কলারশিপ দিচ্ছেন, তাহলে একটা নিউ ক্যাটেগরি শুরু করুন যাকে আমরা বলবো একটা ডিজিটাল স্কলারশিপ, মানে যেই ঘরে দরকার একটা অ্যাটলিস্ট একটা মানে বেসিক স্মার্টফোন কি কিছু একটা কেনা, সো দ্যাট যেটা মনীষা দি আপনি বলছিলেন না ইউটিউবে যদি এই বসানো যায় মানে ভিডিও বসানো যায়, আর তারপর অ্যাটলিস্ট হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে যদি অ্যাক্সেস করা যায়, মানে এটা কোনো পারফেক্ট সলিউশন নেই, এটা একটা স্টার্টিং সলিউশন আমি মনে করব। সেকেন্ড হচ্ছে মানে যদি আমরা দেখতে পারি কমিউনিটি লেভেলে কি ফোন কি আমরা শেয়ার করতে পারি কমিউনিটিতে, যেই কমিউনিটিতে মানে গরিবই আছে এই ওই যেখানে এই প্রবলেমটা হচ্ছে, আমরা কি কোনো ছোট ছোট কমিউনিটি সেন্টার সেট আপ করতে পারি, যেখানে ধরুন 5-6টা স্টুডেন্টও একসঙ্গে মিলে কি 10 জন স্টুডেন্ট মিলে একটু ওই শেয়ার্ড ফোন থেকে কিছু একটা এডুকেশন পেল, নট এ পারফেক্ট সলিউশন কিন্তু some sort of solution. Third হচ্ছে ডেফিনেটলি এই প্রি রেকর্ডেড লেকচার্স এটসেট্রা রাখা খুব দরকার, আর একটা মানে কালচার তৈরি করতে হবে ওই জায়গায় যে দেখুন আপনার কাছে যদি ফোন আছে একে ইউজ করতে দিন এর পড়ার এই ওই, সো দ্যাট যেটা আমরা সব আজ সকালে নিউজ পেপারে পড়েছি না হয়। আর ফাইনালি আমার মতে একটা বিগার ইস্যু হচ্ছে যে আমরা যদি সত্যি ডিজিটাল একটা ইউনিভার্সের দিকে স্লোলি যাচ্ছি, হ্যাঁ, তাহলে আমাদের যেমন আমরা রাইট টু ফুড, রাইট টু এডুকেশন, রাইট টু হেলথ নিয়ে কথা করি, আমাদের হয়তো সত্যি ভাবতে হবে যে আমাদের কি একটা তাহলে রাইট টু ইন্টারনেট দরকার। এইটাই মানে আমি একটু আপনাদের সঙ্গে রাখতে চাইছিলাম।
Thank you, Bishakha. The next question is closely related to this, where they have said that acknowledging the fact that so many young youth and adolescents and children are using mobile phones to attend classes, how can they be made aware of the dangers that may befall them when using the internet is the next question.
Okay. So again আমার মতে যদি আমরা মানে এটা আমি just briefly answer করব, কিন্তু আমার মনে হচ্ছে আমরা যেটা দেখছি, apart from the digital divide or apart from the gender digital divide, parents দের মনে একটা great fear আছে of digital education আর actually of digital technology. এটা আমরা আগেও যখন ওয়ার্কশপ করতাম, মানে সুন্দরবনেও করেছি, কলকাতায়ও করেছি, মালদায়ও করেছি, অনেক জায়গায় করেছি, পুরো ইন্ডিয়ায় আমরা দেখেছি যে একটা খুব মানে যেমন আমরা আজকাল খুব একটা আমাদের ফিয়ার হয়ে গেছে এই ভাইরাসের, তেমনি মানে প্যারেন্টসদের মধ্যে একটা গ্রেট ফিয়ার আছে যখন ওদের ছেলেমেয়েরা মোবাইল ফোন ইউজ করে, ইন্টারনেট ইউজ করে, পার্টিকুলারলি যখন মেয়েরা ইউজ করে। তাই ডেঞ্জার্স এর দিক থেকে যদি আমরা এটাকে দেখি, ফার্স্ট হলো ডেঞ্জার্স তো অনেক রকমই আছে, বেনিফিটসও অনেক রকমই আছে, আর আমাদের আর কয়েকটা প্রশ্ন আছে যেখানে আমরা ইন ডিটেল এই ডেঞ্জার্স নিয়ে কথা কইব, তাই আমি বেশি কিছু বলছি না এর বিষয়ে। কিন্তু আমার মতে এইটাও একটু ভাবা দরকার যে আমরা কেন, যদি আমরা প্যারেন্টস, আমরা কেন এই টেকনোলজিকে এত ভয় পাই, মানে এই টেকনোলজি থেকে কি হতে পারে যেটা পৃথিবীতে আগে হয়নি। আর আমার মতে যেমন আমরা যদি দেখি পাচারও, কি আমরা যদি দেখি পর্নোগ্রাফি, কি যাই বলি, এইসব জিনিস তো সবই আগে পৃথিবীতে ছিল। এটা না যে সেলফোন আসার পর কি ইন্টারনেট আসার পর এসব জিনিস শুরু হয়েছে। তাই আমরা যেটা বলতে চাই সেটা হলো যে এইগুলোকে একটা বিগার লেভেলে আমাদের ট্যাকল করতে হবে, আর তার মধ্যে নিশ্চয়ই টেকনোলজি, এই ফোন টোন যুক্ত, কিন্তু আর হয়তো মোবাইল ফোন দিয়ে এগুলো কয়েকটা জিনিস আরো ইজি হয়ে গেছে, যেমন পাচার। কিন্তু এটা মানে দুদিক থেকেই ট্যাকল করতে হবে, একটা হলো পাচারকে, আর তারপর তার মধ্যে যেটা ডিজিটাল এলিমেন্ট। তাই একটা মোর মানে কংক্রিট লেভেল আমি যেটা বলবো সেটা হলো যে প্রশ্নটা ছিল হাউ ক্যান ইয়াং পিপল বি মেড অ্যাওয়্যার অফ দ্য ডেঞ্জার্স। আমি বলবো এডুকেশন থেকে যদি আমরা দেখতে চেষ্টা করি না, তাহলে যদি আমরা সত্যি ডিজিটাল এডুকেশনে যাচ্ছি, তাহলে স্কুলদেরও হয়তো মানে একটু ছোট ছোট ডুজ অ্যান্ড ডোন্টস, কি মানে একটু টিপস, যেমন আমরা ওই পাসওয়ার্ডের টিপস আপনাদের দেব, কিন্তু এটা মানে আমাদের হয়তো রিয়েলি অ্যাজ এডুকেটার্স ভাবতে হবে নট জাস্ট অ্যাবাউট দ্য কারিকুলাম, কিন্তু সত্যি যে কয়েকটা মানে which are the biggest dangers, যেটা একটা ইয়াং পার্সন, ধরুন ফার্স্ট টাইম মোবাইল ইউজার, হয়তো এত ভালোভাবে জানে না কিভাবে ইউজ করতে, which are the real dangers, আর সেগুলো কিভাবে মানে ম্যানিফেস্ট করবে আর কিভাবে ওগুলো অ্যাভয়েড করা যায়। তো একটা মানে স্কুল লেভেলেও আমার মতে একটা ডিজিটাল লিটারেসি কারিকুলাম মতন জিনিস দরকার, যেখানে মানে স্টুডেন্টদের শেখানো যায় কিভাবে তুমি এই মোবাইল ফোনটা ঠিকভাবে ইউজ করতে পারো, আর যদি এইরকম হয় কি করতে পারো, আর এইরকম হতে পারে, সেটাও একটা মানে সিলেবাসের অংশ হওয়া দরকার, সেটাই আমি বলতে চাইছিলাম।
Bishakha, you might have answered the next question, but I will ask you from my limited understanding of Bangla. I think you might have answered parts of it. This is a combination of several questions which we got because we thought it goes together. So Bishakha and I clubbed it together. With the youth and children using internet more, what are some things that teachers, parents, and other caregivers need to be aware of with respect to their activities and security online? What role can teachers play in the context of students coming from rural areas? And one of the questions which came was also, which sites and apps should they be kept away from?
Yeah. So Smita, we'll answer, you'll answer, I'll answer part, then you'll answer part.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll answer the first part and I'll answer it in English so that you know what I'm saying. I think I've answered part of it, but I want to give a few things that educators can actually do. I think one is, you know, when we were in school, which certainly when I was in school was many, many years ago, but we had classes which were more like, at that time it was called moral science, right? I think what we need in today's digital society is actually classes around, you know, the ethics of using digital technologies and how you can use it. And I remember even in college, we used to have classes which are called foundation courses. I think we need something similar in colleges and in schools if such large numbers of people are suddenly going to start using, I mean, firstly, large numbers of people in India are already using mobile phones, right? And we know that the population of SIM cards in India is bigger than the population of human beings. So it's not something new. But the difference is that now they are going to use it for many, many more essential things than perhaps they have done in the past. So I feel like each school needs to think about digital education a little more holistically and think about digital literacy classes, digital foundation classes, where really like, once a week, once every 2 weeks, students can be taught something like little things about, because you cannot learn about digital security in one session. And these are really skills that we will need in life going forward for everything, including, if someone pays us by Paytm, then we have to make sure that nobody steals our money, right? So all these things. And I think another thing that the school could really do, so really having a digital literacy, security, ethics and values curriculum with important things like gender, etc., also very much part of it, and rights. What are our digital rights online? The second thing I think is that teachers and educators and schools can also try and make parents feel more comfortable, because parents are worried about their children now turning to online education. So maybe even trying to, through, at this stage, it's very hard to get people together physically, but to again try and see even through WhatsApp groups, etc., or even through SMSs, what kind of messages can be sent to parents that can make them feel a little reassured. Let me just say that, digital education was thrust down everybody's throat, or digital everything, in a context that we could not imagine 3 months ago. So nobody is prepared for it. But going forward, what I'm saying is, I think that we have to take it seriously and prepare for it step by step, and set up the scaffolding around the formal school curriculum, which really is the understanding what it means to live in a digital world or to use a digital device. Over to you, Smita.
I completely agree with like what you've said, Bishakha. In fact, I remember thinking that, in schools, there are these computer science classes where they teach you obscure programming languages, which are not used anymore. What we need in place of that is a complete revamp of classes like that, where you're not teaching technology as if it is absent from our life, and part of that is teaching digital ethics, definitely. Part of the question which came is, how can we monitor their online activity, or which sites and apps to keep away? The truth is that, so when I'm 27 right now, and I grew up with the internet from the age of like say 8-9 years old, right? I was fortunate. I had the opportunity to do that, but I did that in a country where a lot of sites were banned. I was brought up in Dubai, and my father knowingly or unknowingly gave me a VPN, which let me go to more websites. Now, what I learned from this is not that he gave me a VPN, but the fact that what I took away from this is the fact that he trusted me with my internet usage. And I think this trust is extremely important, because whether you decide to monitor your children's use or students' use, or if you say that you are not allowed to go on these apps, these are students and youth and people who have grown up with technology. They will find ways around. I'm not saying this to scare you. It is a reality. What we need is to build a trust, right? In case they face violence in these spaces, they should know that they can come back to you and say that, hey, you know what? This happened and it made me feel very sad, very upset, very scared. Can you help me as a parent or a caregiver or a teacher? If the space is not there, then the danger will continue. Harassment often continues because the people facing harassment don't have a space to go and talk about it. And we know this from domestic violence, we know this from child sexual abuse, we know this from everyday harassment faced by women and queer and trans persons, that often, because what is the fear? Like if a college going girl or a school going girl is harassed by a man in the bus, if you go home and say, what if your parents stop you from going to school? Yeah. That is the very same fear here. If you tell them that, oh, if a young girl has used Facebook when the parents have said, no, you should not use Facebook? If she faces harassment there, can she come and talk to you or no? Right? When that space is not there, that's when harassment, violence continues. I think instead of thinking along the lines of how do we monitor activity or how do we keep them away from sites and apps, what we really need to rethink is how do we connect to the people under our care about how can we keep them safe the best, right? And this involves the same, like a part of it is of course definitely teachers becoming more comfortable with this technology and making parents more aware of it. But part of it is also work which we as adults have a responsibility to put in. That, you know what, I can make this better for this young people who are under my care, to make sure that they know who they can come to if something happens. Ideally, nothing should happen, yes. But I think this is an essential way in the way we think about safety online, which I think will more than anything help children online today.
Thank you, Smita. Let me ask you the next question as well, which is about Zoom specifically. So it says Zoom is being used by primarily English medium schools in urban areas to take classes. How safe is Zoom?
Thank you, Bishakha. Now, it's really curious. So Zoom at the end of 2019 had about 10 million users worldwide, globally. By May starting, they had 300 million users and everyday daily users, right? That shows what a boom it's gotten. Now, whether you hate it or like it or have problems with it, you have to use it in many spaces. So there are certain safeguards which we can take in terms of using Zoom. One is that if you're organizing meetings, make sure that you have a password put to the meeting room. This is a setting which is available on Zoom. Similarly, Zoom also has a waiting room feature, which means that unless the host is sure and explicitly says yes to a person entering the Zoom room, they cannot enter the room, which means you can kick out someone, right? And anyone who you may think is suspicious. Another thing is to make sure that you don't share the meeting link publicly until, and best way is that if you're doing webinars, to only share meeting links with people who have registered and who you are sure are not trolls who have come to like just disrupt the space, right? Another thing is, one other very conscious thing which need to keep in mind is Zoom at the end of the day is not secure in terms of, we don't know what they can see and what they cannot see. So if we are discussing something which is sensitive in nature, or which you think may be dangerous, or which you cannot risk getting out, you can use other secure platforms like Jitsi, which are known for their encrypted nature, which are known for their security, and make sure that you have these as multiple options available, right? And I think that is one of the ways to deal with the concerns which come with Zoom, because we cannot rely only on one space to for all our needs. So same like how we don't do in our physical lives, right? So I think these are some ways in which Zoom can become safer. And another thing is that Zoom themselves have taken certain steps after risks such as Zoom bombing, what is called. What happens is that someone who's not come to attend a webinar or a class just enters and puts up images which are uncomfortable for others, or just disrupts the space and makes it unsafe. And locking the room, using a waiting room feature, and not sharing a link publicly are all ways to avoid risks which are of this kind. And also being very conscious about who has access to sharing screen, who has access to putting video on, who has access to turn on their audio, right? And how will this come is by exploring the app a little more. Another very easy thing that a lot of people who just want to attend Zoom webinars can do is that instead of downloading the app onto your computer or phone, you can use it on the browser, which is using Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. This way, once you're done with Zoom, you can just close the window and it'll be gone. Whereas when you download it, it has slightly more risks. And this is something that technologists who have studied Zoom have also said regarding this. So these are some ways in which Zoom can be made safer.
Okay, great. The next question is also for you, and this is actually about Facebook. So the question is that, many teachers are uploading their lectures on Facebook, but Facebook provides no protection to users against sexual harassment. So what about the security of these students? What can be done? How can they avoid this kind of situation on Facebook?
I think the solution for this is multi-step. Step one is what I had said previously about making sure that your students and children have a space to come back to you should they face harassment. Apart from that, another option is that if teachers are uploading lectures on Facebook, why is that? Are there alternative spaces where they can upload these lectures, which can be more protected? For example, on YouTube, for example, you have an option of uploading lectures which are not public. So not everyone can see it unless the teacher particularly shares the link, right? And you also have the option of taking it down any time that you need. Now, these are some ways to like also explore, like, why are we using Facebook as a space for uploading lectures? Are there other options? Another thing is, now when we know that this is already happening, there are mechanisms on Facebook which you can use for protecting yourself. One of the things is that there are settings on Facebook under privacy and account settings, using which you can make sure that your account is more protected. You can make sure that your phone number and email ID is not visible to people who are not friends. You can make sure that your profile picture is protected so that they cannot take photos without your consent from it, right? You can even check who is tagging you in different videos or photos. And these are all privacy and timeline options which are available. Another thing which we need to be aware of is the fact that Facebook has reporting mechanisms, which means that if you find a comment or a post or a message inappropriate and you're not happy with it, if you think it's violence, you can report it to them. There are issues with the Facebook's reporting mechanism in that sometimes if the comments are in regional languages, in Bangla or Tamil or Malayalam, Facebook sometimes finds it not offensive, or it doesn't violate their community standards because they don't have enough people looking at abuse which comes in local languages. Another issue is that we don't know what happens after you report something to Facebook. When these are concerns, I think one of the first steps which we can take is reporting, because it still like flags it and says that, you know what, this is problematic, this is not okay. Another thing is that when you when parents or teachers are telling students to go on to different platforms, it's essential that if it's possible, it's better if they do an audit of the platform first. If they're going to go on Facebook, teachers can go on Facebook and see, okay, these are ways in which my students can be safe, these are ways in which I can be safe because I'm putting up my lecture online. And they can, when they're telling students to go here and check, they can also send a little document saying that, these are steps you can take to protect yourself. Is this easy? No, it is definitely more work. But like Bishakha was saying, these are unprecedented times, which means that our solutions also have to be unprecedented and new as we come up with, issues that we may face or preemptively think about it.
So আমি বলতে চাইছিলাম actually consent-এর ব্যাপারে মানে আমরা যেটা দেখছি সেটা হলো অনলাইন, মানে সে মোবাইল ফোনে হোক, সে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে হোক, ফেসবুক কি টিকটক কি ইনস্টাগ্রাম, যেখানেই মানে রোজই এই কনসেন্টের ভায়োলেশন খুব মানে রুটিন ভাবে হচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ, আর এটা একদিক দিয়ে যদি আমরা দেখি ছবি নিয়ে খুব difficulties হচ্ছে। What we are seeing is that people are taking other people's photographs and are using them for purposes without their consent. So we see this very often in the case of teenage girls, where you may have a situation where a teenage girl has shared her photographs with either a boy or another teenage girl or something. But this happens much more in a heterosexual context, where her photo is then taken by the boy as well as his friends and is used in ways without her consent, distributed publicly, etc. And that also causes a great deal of harassment. And, just like we are seeing very sadly in the case of the girl who committed suicide today, this has been something where girls have felt so deeply violated by their image going out of their control and being used in ways where they feel a loss of bodily autonomy or bodily integrity or dignity. That there have also been some very unfortunate cases, including suicide in this kind of context. So one is, I think there are laws to deal with this. There is a law actually called in the Information Technology Act, which is called Section 66E. And in Section 66E, and this is what I wanted to actually show you all, it says that, any attempt, whosoever intentionally or knowingly captures, publishes, or transmits the image of a private area of any person without his or her consent can be punished under Section 66E. So this is already recognized in the law. But I think the problem is that when these things happen, particularly if it's images and particularly if it's intimate images, which a girl has sent maybe to a boy, and it's just for their own enjoyment because, they are in a romance together or something. One is she is very, very reluctant to go to the police. One is she knows that if she tells her parents about this, they'll immediately say, please stop. তোমায় কেন আমরা মোবাইল ফোন তোমার হাতে দেয়াই উচিত ছিল না, ফোনটা হয়তো কেড়ে নেবে ওর কাছ থেকে। সেকেন্ড, মানে খুব একটা লজ্জারও ব্যাপার আছে, মানে she may not feel ashamed of sharing the photograph with him because it was supposed to be for their own enjoyment. But when it becomes public, then, her body is on display and she feels very ashamed about this. And then unfortunately, whenever she tries to complain about it or talk to anyone about it, whether it's friends or parents or teachers, she's always told that it's her fault. যে তুমি কেন এই ছবিটা শেয়ার করলে আর এটা তোমারই দোষ। এখন that is not a helpful thing to say actually to a girl, because it's very similar to what we have been, the kind of messages that go out even in physical, non-digital environments, where girls, if they are sexually harassed, are always told, but you should not have stepped out at night, you should have not worn these kinds of clothes, you should not have been doing this, you should not have been doing that. So we always put the blame on them for something which is a violation or a crime that they are not responsible for and they are at the receiving end of. Similarly here, by telling them, "Are tumi keno erom chobi patale," we are again putting the responsibility on them. Whereas what we have to really do is think of ways in which we can put pressure on the boy or the person who is spreading these images, right? So I think we need, again, at the school level, girls must feel comfortable to either to talk to some teacher or someone about it without being blamed for it. And it has to be treated seriously. Like it is a complaint of sexual harassment. It is a complaint of digital sexual harassment or digital sexual violence, etc. And it has to be treated like that. So it cannot be taken as less serious than a case of physical sexual harassment or physical sexual violence. And I think but I think the point is to try and deal with it as much as possible in a preventive way, which means that try and reduce the number of cases like this, which again, in my humble opinion, means having some sort of digital literacy classes where we can talk about things like consent, where students can clearly be told, can be given examples, right? That this is the kind of case, this is why it's wrong. But again, it's very important that we say that it's wrong because it's a violation of consent, that we do not position it as something that is immoral. I think the problem that happens very often is that a girl and a boy exchange photos which are intimate, but then these are seen as vulgar or obscene. But the real problem is that if they are exchanging it with each other for their own pleasure, then it's not necessarily something that is vulgar or obscene. It's just that if the real harm is when it slips outside the two of them and starts circulating everywhere. But there actually the problem is that without her consent, her photo is being circulated. So it's not a question of morality. It is really actually a question of harm. And that is what we have to tackle.
Hello?
Yes. I think the next question is for you, and I think we are going towards the end. One is, again, WhatsApp and Facebook. How do you identify a fake identity, report a malicious post, or block a troll?
Okay. So on Facebook, the truth is that identifying a fake profile more than anything comes with having been on a space, because there is no one easy way of identifying when a fake profile is fake, right? Because yes, some indications can be that they don't have much information on their profile. Another can be that they are using photos which are not of their own, but there is no way to verify this immediately. So a thing of precaution is to be mindful of who you add as friends on Facebook and who you share your WhatsApp contact details with. With so many people going online right now, this is not to say that don't add people who you don't know, because many times you have friends who are online friends, or friends who may not be from your area or your school, but you are friends with them for any number of reasons, right? So that is not the point, but to be careful, be mindful and conscious of, are you finding any of their behavior uncomfortable? Are you finding messages uncomfortable? Did you see them share a photo which is of someone else, an actor, or like someone else who a YouTube star? Because those are people who may not be known to everyone, but you may be aware of them, right? To watch out for signs like this is one. Another thing is when you're sharing, when on WhatsApp. Now we spoke about privacy and security on Facebook. WhatsApp is a space which we use a lot these days, right? There are quite a few privacy settings available also on WhatsApp. Settings through which you can lock who can see your profile photo and who cannot. There are also ways to block people on WhatsApp. When you click on anyone's chat window and you click on their name, you can block the person from there and report it to WhatsApp as abusive. Another thing is, and these are ways in which you can be, and also another thing what we need to remember is that if something is uncomfortable, if someone is making you uncomfortable, it is not your responsibility to engage with them. You can completely stop engaging as and when you want, because it is your mental health, your safety, which is priority everywhere, right? I think with some of these things, some of these conscious efforts in mind, we can block trolls, block people who make you, because not everyone who makes you uncomfortable is a troll necessarily. They may just be, I don't know, someone who's decided to contact you for whatever reason. But if it is uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable, right? So there are ways to block people on Facebook. You can report entire profiles on Facebook and tell them why you're reporting this profile, not just posts. And when you report profiles on Facebook, they have to take notice that this person is doing something uncomfortable, not just a post or comment or something is uncomfortable to you, right? And WhatsApp also has options like two-factor authentication, which you can use to make sure that your WhatsApp is only used by you. No one else is like duplicating your WhatsApp on another phone, for example, or using your number on WhatsApp for whatever reason. These are on WhatsApp. If you see, there are 3 dots in the top corner. When you click on that, there is something called settings, and in that you will find all of these options listed one by one. And these options are available not just in English but also in Bangla. So you can do it more comfortably in a language which you're comfortable with. But it's essential that you know that these are options which are available to you. And one last thing in short is the difference between a fake profile and an alternative profile, because we tend to put it together. Because when fake profiles, because a lot of people, especially women who are not allowed to be on certain social media apps, young girls who are not allowed to be on social media or certain websites, and LGBTQ persons who are not out in their workplace or to their family, may choose to make alternative profiles on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, where they can just be themselves. And this is done not with the intention of harassing someone else, but with the intention of expressing themselves. And I think this is the key difference between a fake profile and an alternative profile. And a fake profile is one which is made with the intent of harassing someone else, with the intent of taking away someone else's rights. Whereas an alternative profile is done with the key purpose of acting and using your own rights, right? And I think this is something which is a very, maybe a subtle difference in language, but it's something which we need to be aware of in the longer run.